Oh, YouTubers. I are it's going. Bleh, I'm already getting tongue tied. I'm going to focus more on this video on food, some things that you can get, some things you might want to think about getting for food storage. Now, if you're prepping for, a short-term situation like a tornado, you can't go to the grocery store, being frozen in, snowstorm type situations, or major disasters where pretty much you'll never be going to a grocery store again, you need to think about what you want to stockpile. Now, can you live off of beans for the rest of your life? Yeah, you can live off peanut butter as your only food source. You gonna be happy about it? No. Are you gonna want to eat it every single day for every single meal? No. So you want to get a little bit of a variety. Something that, okay, well, this day I can eat this, that day I can eat that, and so on. So, and then the amounts of food really jump up big time over that. If you're only stockpiling one thing, you can, it ain't going to take as much food to stockpile one type of food for a year. The thing is, when you start varying food and getting a diet where you're not just, one food for every single day, every single meal, and all that, then it really starts getting a lot of room. It starts taking a lot of room. One item that you might be interested in getting and stockpiling is ramen noodles. This is 12 pack. These things don't cost much. And if you're like me, 2 of them is a meal. So think about that. What would you normally eat? Don't go out and buy stuff that you never had before and expect to eat it when you don't even know what it tastes like. You might find that what you got ain't very good. This is chicken. I like the chicken better than I like the pork or shrimp. That's just me. You might like the pork better or the shrimp better. I don't know. But try what you're going to eat. Because if you don't try it, you might not be wanting to eat it. And if you pack nothing but this, trust me, you're not going to want to eat it after so long. No matter how much you love this, eventually you're going to get fed up with it. If that's the only thing you eat. Now to prepare this, all you need is hot water and a bowl. A few minutes, noodles get soft, take a little packet, sprinkle on top, you're done. Simple, good to eat, cheap. Another thing, oatmeal. This is the brand I like. You can get whatever brand you want. This ain't the cheapest, but it's a good brand. I enjoy this brand. There's a lot of uses for this. Yes, you can eat it just as oatmeal. You can use it and grind it up and put it in foods to thicken the broth, if that's what you want to do. You can bake with this. You can use this, grind it up, make like a flour out of it. Make cookies with it. You can bake breads with it. You can do all that with this, if that's what you choose to do. All you need is hot water, maybe sugar, or butter. It depends on what your tastes are. Maybe you like it one way and someone else likes it the other. Brown sugar don't taste bad in it. Honey don't taste bad in it. Honey is actually a really good thing to think about prepping with. Because honey is something that you can use for multiple things. You've got sugar aspect. Another thing. Beans. Get these bag of beans. They're not too expensive. You can take these beans and you can plant these darn things and actually grow bean plants. I've done it. Plus, they're food. Plus, you can grind them up into a powder and make kind of a, almost like a flour and use it for pretty much almost everything you can use flour for. So, that gives you another option. Something else you can grind up. That's another thing you should look into is a grinder. Don't get a battery one. If you try to get you a hand grinder that you can grind flour and everything, but also make it where it's able to be adapted, where you can put like meat grinder ends on it, where you can grind meat with it, make hamburger or sausage or whatnot. Another thing, popcorn. Why would you want to stockpile popcorn? Well, it's a seed. These are untreated. At least by my knowledge, they're untreated. I have had these plants grow. I'll plant the popcorn seeds. All it is corn. Kernels of corn. You can grind this up and make cornmeal. You can pop it as it was originally intended to be popped. It gives you tons. It gives you a bigger thing. And being able to grind it, use it, make cornbread or whatever, something like this, gives you an option. Something that you can do. Well, if you're going to have all this food, you're going to have something to drink. Now, water, you can drink just plain water. Not get fed up with drinking just water. Yeah, you can stockpile soda. Soda costs a lot more than some of this shit. Simple, everyday Gatorade. I like Gatorade. I've got other different flavors of Gatorades and other different ones. I got High C and different ones. That gives me something I can mix in with the water and give me a change over time. If I'm having to drink water every day, well, I might not want to drink water every day. I might want something a little more flavored. This gives me something a little more flavor. Plus, this has beneficial components that will help me retain water, hold, better, not sweat as much, electrolytes and all that kind of stuff. So that might be useful. You might want to think about it. Another thing, you can buy cans. This one's a big industrial can. The way we calculate it for us, because we don't really cook a big meal. It's just me and my wife, and maybe in the future we'll have children, but really we don't cook a big meal. Very rarely we would cook a big meal. Normally we'll cook like one item, a big large something like potatoes. We'll cook a big thing of potatoes and eat nothing but potatoes and maybe some bread and a few things like that. That's about it. We ain't the 5-course meal making everyday type people. I don't know. Sometimes we'll cook a big meal and all the bells and whistles, but normally we're just cooking certain things. Like when we cook beans, we buy beans and we'll buy a big thing of beans and we'll munch on them for 2 or 3 days. We cook this up, we've got 2 or 3 days worth of food here, or a whole day worth of food, whatever. And as long as you keep it protected, keep shit from getting in it and screwing it up, it'll last a day or two at least. By then, especially if you got a lot of people to feed, you got a big family, or you and your friends and all that, a bunch of people, you might want to look into these bigger cans, because these bigger cans will give you a lot more food for what you're going to pay. Because if I was buying little cans to equal this amount, I'd have more in the little cans than I would in this. And true, I could use the little cans to break up, and if I'm only eating for myself, the little cans might actually be a better aspect. Because, one little can to me would be better than me opening one of the big cans, eats as much as I can stomach, and then can't eat no more. My personal favorite, canned spaghetti. Chef Boyardee. Love this stuff. I could live off this just myself. I've been eating this pretty much every single day since I was like 7, and have yet to get sick and tired of it. Maybe it's me. Maybe it ain't. Love this stuff. I got the bigger cans. I've got some smaller cans. It depends on what I want to do. Me, I'm a big person. I'm 6'8", and I usually only eat one big meal a day. That's just the way I am. And, I'm out doing my thing, working on what I work on and whatnot. I get hungry. I can eat one of these cans myself. And this is the small can. This is the big can, not the big can, but the next size up from the small can. I can eat this all by myself. And if you're dealing with cans, note to everybody: get a can opener, a quality can opener, an electric one. Get you a good quality can opener. Another thing that might be interested, if you're in the move, you might be interested in getting some of these military can openers. I keep this one on my keys. I have one on my bag, and I also have one in a setup that goes with my food. So if something happens and I ain't got this, I ain't got that, I've got these things all over the place. These were really cheap. I bought them at a pawn shop. Really cheap, simple, and do open cans really well. I've used it multiple times to open cans. So that's just some of the things you can get, Notes of some things that you might be interested in. Think of candies. Hard candy. Some type of, like peppermints or, just different candies, Whatever you like. Get something that's going to last. You don't want nothing like chocolate or something like that. It's going to melt if it gets too hot or something like that. Hard candies will stay good for, I really ain't sure how long they'll stay good. We've had hard candy that we've had around for a year or two, growing up, and not a bit of problems. Still tasted just the same. Wasn't moldy or anything like that. As long as it don't get wet, it don't mold. So, I ain't sure how long hard candy lasts. Gives you something to suck on, gives you not salt, sugars, and, a little sweetness here and there, Plus, while you're sucking on the peppermint or whatever, it gets your saliva flowing. It don't make you as thirsty. That's an old technique of, like, if you ain't got no water to drink, you can suck on a pebble or something to, get your saliva flowing where it makes you feel like you're not walking around without no water all the damn time. But, plus store water. Storing water ain't easy. I'll have to get into another video over that on the proper ways of storing water and different things later on. But this is just a small section of things you can get. Look at what you eat every day and figure out what you can get. Now, if you're just trying to feed yourself and not a bunch of people, then, smaller cans and stuff like that, and things that you can, you ain't going to ruin the whole mass of food by opening your can. Like the big can, if it's just me by myself, open that big can, it's retarded. I ain't no way I can eat all that. But if it's more than me and there's a bunch of us, then that gives me something that I can feed a bunch of people easily. Without really tearing open a bunch of cans and food and all this other stuff. Plus, the big cans also give you ability. You can use them for different things. You can use them to store stuff in. Maybe not food, where you need to reseal them, but, just all sorts of shit. You can use them for boiling water. There's a YouTube video out there. We'll have to try to find it, put it in the favorites, where there's a stove, little wood stove, really small wood stove. You can build out of one of the big cans and a couple of the small cans, and putting like sand or something like around it in a certain way, and it uses very little bits of wood. That's little wood, but it makes a lot of heat, and you can cook off of it really well. I'll have to find that video and try to put it in my favorites. But, there's all sorts of different things, benefits in multiple ways that you can accomplish different things. Well, my video's getting too long. Thank you for watching. God bless, and please subscribe, and catch you later.